Introducing Carvana Value Tracker, where you can track your car's value over time and learn what's driving it. It might make you excited.
Whoa, didn't know my car was valued this high.
It might make you nervous.
Uh-oh, market's flooded. My car's value just dipped 2.3%.
It might make you optimistic.
Our low mileage is paying off. Our value's up.
And it might make you realistic.
Car prices haven't gone up in a couple weeks. Maybe it's time to sell.
But it will definitely make you an expert on your car's value. Carvana Value Tracker. Visit Carvana.com to start tracking your car's value today.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Welcome to the Your Financial Maven podcast. I'm SMB CPA with your part 2 bonus episode for small businesses and entrepreneurs. Again, this was recorded back in 2021 and has some valuable information when it comes to the accounting and tax side. Hey there, this is Your Financial Maven coming at you today with the second in my podcast series on tips for small businesses. So I wanted to take time for this podcast to delve further into the accounting and tax sides of running a business. You know, it's great for new small businesses, and it's a great refresher for those of you that have already been established in your small businesses. It's important, I think, to understand your accounting and tax side because you need to know. So just sit back and let me give you some insights on how the accounting and tax side can help run your small business. So here's the thing. When you're setting up your business and you're just starting out, you're sitting there going, okay, I know I bring money in, I know I spend money, but you've got to kind of get some understanding of that. Even if you hire a bookkeeper, it is so important for you as the business owner to understand. So here's the first thing I actually recommend. I actually recommend you opening up a separate business bank account. Even if you're sole proprietor, having that separate business bank account is actually really good because it gets you into keeping your business separated from your personal. You may decide as a sole proprietor a couple years down the line to incorporate. And if you already have things separated from your personal, it'll make that transition so much easier. And in addition, it kind of gives you a better idea, especially if you're utilizing an accounting software and you're bringing in bank transactions and things like that into the accounting software. You don't have to worry about all of your personal items. That's my first recommendation. My second recommendation is to probably utilize either Excel or an accounting package like QuickBooks Desktop or QuickBooks Online. I am a QuickBooks Pro advisor, so yes, you could say I'm a little biased, but I can honestly say you need to find the accounting software that works for you. I do also work with Xero, and I've worked with several other accounting services as well. So it's very important for you to determine. Now, if you're the type of person, you're just getting started out and you just want to do it in a journal, that's fine to do it by hand. But at some point, as your business grows, you really need to consider making it either Excel or QuickBooks or some other accounting software package, because I can tell you these things will make your life so much easier. You know, utilizing Excel or by hand is great, but it won't necessarily give you in-depth analyses and other features like QuickBooks. So for example, QuickBooks, the accounting software that, like I said, as a QuickBooks Pro advisor, I can give you insight in, although I will tell you most accounting software do these things. They don't just give you that ability to input your income and input your expenses, but they do give you the ability to go ahead and send invoices to your clients, which is great because in this way you can track what they owe you, when they owe you, if it's overdue. Not knowing what invoices or bills that you've sent to customers, money you're supposed to receive in that's overdue, not knowing that, and then you could be losing out on all kinds of money. These accounting software packages are great because you can send these invoices, you can track these invoices, you can go back to your clients. I know for QuickBooks, when they open up the invoice, it actually tracks the data that they say they viewed the invoice. So if you go to them and the invoice is overdue and they say, well, I never received it, you have the data to show that. So that's why an accounting software package is great. Some are now getting into you paying bills directly from the accounting software, but they do have the ability to cut checks for you to send bills or do ACH transfers. I know QuickBooks and I think Xero has the ability to handle any inventory. So if you're selling products and Even if you use Square or PayPal, those have ways to connect to the accounting services for inventory. But I also know that the accounting softwares have inventory as well, which makes it easier for tracking. You can also be able to track different locations and really itemize or track your income and expenses if you really want to get detailed as to who it's related to, what location, is it related to this project or that project. So having an accounting software can really get you the information that you need. You have to remember, you have to find the accounting software that works best for you. So it's definitely something to think about. Also, the nice thing, having all those reports at year end, when you have to go either prepare your own tax return or you hire somebody to prepare your tax return, handing them those reports, handing them that data actually makes it easier, might cost you a little less money, makes it more efficient for the tax preparation. And you may find that during tax season, all that stuff gets done in a more efficient manner and there's a lot less stress. So if you have your accounting system, okay, now we've picked it out, we kind of know where we're going. So now what? Well, you really kind of need to set up your books of business, have an understanding of your income and your expense item. So at its basic form, income is the money that you bring in from any sales of product or sales of service. But it's important for you to understand that that's your revenue. But you as either a sole proprietor, or even if you're not, you have a business, like an S Corp or partnership, that it's important for you to understand that if you take money out of the business for you to use personally, that money's already been recorded as revenue. When you're taking it out, in essence, it's a distribution to you as the owner. So yes, you're bringing in income, you're bringing it into the business, and then you're going to take that income and use it to be able to not only pay for your business expenses, but some of your personal expenses. When you take it out of the business for personal expenses, it's not income to you, it's a distribution to you. You've already recorded that income. So I just want you to understand regarding that, because I have come across, clients that just don't understand that difference. And then they double record the income and they have messed up their books. So when you bring the money in from the sale or from the product of something, that's when you record it as your income. But if you take that money out to pay for personal, it's considered a distribution to you. So especially as a sole proprietor, the money that's coming in, it's yours. But you just have to understand how it gets recorded so that the books of the business are proper. And again, it's a basic, simple level of this. I could spend hours probably going into detail about each income account and each expense account, but you have to understand the accounting and the tax side of your business. Again, at a very basic, simple level, what are your expenses? Well, really, it should be anything typically related to running of your business. So of course, things like payroll, rent, office expense, to name a few. Just understanding what you're spending out of the business and being able to track that will really give you an insight of how your business is doing. You work hard for your business. You want to have a good understanding of where your business is. So that's why I say on the high end basic level, understanding income and expenses is very important. So, another area of the accounting or the financial side of the business that I don't know if a lot of business owners really think about, or they do think about it either when it's too late or when somebody makes a mention of it, like if I mention it right now, is insurance. Okay. And I know insurance, life insurance, business insurance, it can be expensive, but having insurance for your business, even if you're a sole proprietor, is very important to keep you covered. I'm also an independent life insurance agent, but in my own business, I actually have business liability insurance, I have ethics liability, cybersecurity, and I have some other insurances, as well as some life insurance that covers me as the business owner. Because I can tell you, if you have your own small business and you're in your home, homeowners does not cover your business. So you really need to look into having some kind of business insurance. Having those in place, having some insurance in place is better than having none. And when it's too late, then it can really be a mess. So it's very, very important that along with the accounting side of it, that you look into insurance to protect you and your business. So the accounting side of the business can seem overwhelming, but it's really important for you as the business owner to have a handle on it. You can hire somebody to be your bookkeeper and do all of this stuff for you, but it's still important as the business owner to know what's going on. I've come across several clients that have had either friends be their bookkeeper or have hired other people to be their bookkeeper and have just basically said, here you go. And they've gone and done their business and sold their products or sold their services and have absolutely no understanding as to how the business is run. And if something were to happen to that bookkeeper, whether they, decide to leave, they could die on you. I hate to say that, but that can happen. And I've seen it happen. They could take off. You need to have an understanding of what's going on with your business. And I know you don't want to take the time because you're dealing with other stuff with your business, but if you do not have a handle on your financial side of your business, it really could be hard for you to get a handle. I've had clients come to me where they've had those situations and I've had to help them clean up their books and teach them how to understand their books because they were just lost, and that's not good. You want to make sure you are maximizing your revenue, maximizing your expenses. You could have 10 invoices out there that are 40 days overdue of money that you're supposed to have in your pocket. And if you don't know that that's not being collected, then that could cause trouble when you go to pay bills and things like that. So it's so important that you do that. Take the time to understand your finances. Even if you hire somebody else to do them for you, you still need to take the time. I strongly recommend that. That's basic accounting side. Again, I could spend hours. And in fact, I have worked with clients spending hours going step by step on the accounting side, how to set up a business. But I really want to get to the tax side of the business because along with the accounting and financial side, there are tax items that you need to be aware of. It's very important for you to understand what forms need to be filled out and typically when they're due or how, they work with everything. I mentioned in my last podcast what the different business structures were. And these are important because these kind of inform you as to what kind of tax returns need to be filed. So if you're a sole proprietor, I can tell you that the tax return is called a Schedule C. And it's actually a part of your 1040 personal tax return. So you need to actually file that as part of your 1040 return because it does determine any self-employment tax that may need to be owed. I've run across clients who have had their small businesses. They filed their personal return. They've come to me to do their business return, come to find out it needed to be on the personal tax return, and we've had to go back and amend the personal tax return. So it's very, very important that you understand that. If it is determined that you're an LLC that's either filing as a partnership or S corporation or a corporation or S corporation, those are actually separate business tax returns. And they are typically due 1 month prior to when the personal returns are due. And the reason why is because typically with partnerships and S corps, you would receive what's called a K1 because the income and expenses, the net income expense would flow through from the business to you on your personal return. So you really need to get that return done first before doing the individual return because those things have to go on your personal return as well. And again, I've had clients where we've had to go and amend the returns because the business return got filed, could have gotten extended beyond, typically it's March 15th, and they didn't know it. They filed their personal return and then come to find out that they had a K1 come after. So please make sure that you understand which business type of tax return you need to file. But see, it's not just your business tax returns. There's also things like payroll and sales tax. So you hire employees, you have to make sure you have all the proper payroll paperwork done up front, whether it's their W-4 direct deposit form, are you doing an I-9 verification form? You need to have all of those in place. And if you're doing payroll yourself, you need to understand that because I know in the state of Pennsylvania, and especially here where I'm at in Lancaster County and most counties, it's not just federal and state paperwork for payroll, but there's also local. So you really need to be aware of that. Yes, you can hire payroll services to help you, but again, they're going to request all those documents. So in addition to that, you have the paychecks, and when you send them paychecks, there's taxes being withheld. Well, all of that has to be recorded and reported and paid to the appropriate taxing authorities from the employer piece of it. Your employees pay some and your employer, as the employer, pays some. So you need to know what payroll tax forms need to be filled out and when they're due. Then you also have for payroll the year-end stuff, things like your W-2s and 1099s for any gig workers or independent contractors or vendors that were sole proprietors or partnerships or the like that need to get a 1099. So there's definitely a lot from the tax side in regards to payroll that you need to be aware of. And the other thing that a lot of states have is sales tax. If you're selling a service or product that potentially is supposed to be collecting sales tax, you need to have all of that tax stuff done. You need to make sure you're registered, you have your sales tax license. You need to make sure you're collecting your sales tax, and you need to make sure you are remitting and reporting it to the appropriate taxing authorities. I've run across a couple of clients who were sole proprietors who got their sales tax license, were collecting sales tax, but they didn't realize that they had to file or do something separate than their personal tax return. And I say to them, it's so important to understand that your personal tax return is your personal tax return. When it comes to the business, there's all kinds of different things that you need to be aware of. And I can tell you regarding payroll and sales tax, and even for business and personal returns, if you're not properly filing, it will get noticed at some point, and then you may have to pay fines and penalties and interest. It won't be pretty at the back end. So please make sure you take care of things like that for sales tax, payroll. And I know that this might seem overwhelming again, but again, if you do it right from the get-go, or you get help from somebody like myself as a CPA or even a tax attorney from the get-go, things will run smoother. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to forget things, but having a general understanding from the get-go is where you could be missing things, especially if you're an established business. This is a great time for you to review your financial side of things because you just never know if you're missing it. And, getting started, it is a bit overwhelming, but it's better to have your ducks in a row than not. I hope I was able to give you a little bit of insight today into understanding why the accounting and tax side of the business is just important as the business itself. As a CPA and sole proprietor myself, I get it.
Your Financial Maven is a production of the Seneca Women Podcast Network and iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, check out the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Wells Fargo presents one of the surest ways to grow your money. A Wells Fargo CD account, where you can earn a 5.00% annual percentage yield on an 11-month term with a minimum opening deposit of $5,000. Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/CD rates to open a CD account and start growing your savings with us.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.